Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet?
I love people as I meet them one by one. People are just wonderful as individuals. You see the whole...
My great aspiration, my greatest ambition is to be so good. Now, in that way, I'm tiresome, as I suppose, to live with, because I want to be a fantastic human being.
I am the greatest. We're not disputing that, Cassius, but how does Sonny Liston feel about it? He can't feel but one way, and let's take everything I say and like it. Because February the 25th, I'm going to take back my job. I'm the champ. He's no champ. He's a tramp.
When you see men fall, don't laugh. Learn. Learn. Because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation.
Mantra, slave song, slave ship, rip skin, made me rip bones. But no matter how close I am, my ancestors speak. They tell me the tide isn't front on us like we're weak. I haven't been getting sleep. Longing to sing until I surpass peak. Until they think we are equal, please. All I want is peace. My ancestors beat drums until their bones would bleed. Begging the generations remember our story.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, people. Blessings, glory, praise, and honor to the Most High. How is everybody? I hope all is well. Friday's right around the corner. Get the negativity off you. Get them demons off you. Get that hatred out of your heart. You made it this far throughout the week with all the bull that's going on. I think that deserves a round of applause. Honestly, like, I know shit be rough out here. Some days you don't want to get out that bed. I know. Some days you don't want to deal with that coworker. I know. But we here. You fully functional. You got your limbs. You got your sight. Some of you got one thing over the other, but you got something. You got more than what Kata Scott got. My condolences to Miss Kata Scott and her family. Horrible way to lose your life. I'm so sick of it. I'm so sick of seeing these black women dying at the hands of these men that don't know how to take no for an answer. Stalkers. Spiritually sick people, mentally sick people, incels, simps, folks that don't have no direction, no purpose, no guidance, no leadership. Bottom of the barrel men that have nothing better going on with their life other than to harass women that don't have no interest in you. That is pathetic. That is sad. I don't accept nor do I advocate for it. Shout outs to my poets, writers, content creators. You know the energy. Shout out to Arcana, shout out to Chef, shout outs to Sid, shout outs to Rob. Shout outs to the people who have been supporting and showing love to the platform. I have an alternate YouTube channel solely for my clips, but I am beginning to do different things on that side of the internet as well, just branching off into different discussions. So you'll see some stuff on one page and some on another. For those of you who have been supporting me, I do say thank you. God has allowed me to use my voice to express myself how I want to, not how somebody else does it. I don't want to be like Andrew Tate. I don't want to be like Fresh and Fit. I don't want to be like anyone other than myself. So I just say thank you for embracing me how I am. You know what I'm saying? You see the title. I got 2 clips I'm gonna play. The first one is a recap. The recap that had people pissed off. People were mad. I made a short story and I shared it in a short and on TikTok. And there was mixed reaction. Some people, including some YouTubers, they said, I didn't see anything wrong with what Stephen A. Smith said. You had other people who were saying that he's a coon and that he's against black people and he's an Uncle Tom, right? I'm going to play the clip that got everybody kind of here and there with their opinions. And then I'm going to play the follow-up, the one where he actually gives his apology. And then I'm going to share my 2 cents on everything that is happening, just to go deeper into context, because we really have to address some of the confusion. We have a real problem with being high and mighty. We think we know everything. We think we can be corrected, chastised. Everything has to turn into a fight or a disagreement or an argument. I'm kind of just over it. So I'm gonna bring this up on a big screen. I'm gonna let it rock out, and then I'm gonna address this post, and then I'm gonna go to the apology afterwards. So let me get this up here real quick.
I made some noise last week because I had the temerity, the unmitigated gall, to say this about Representative Crockett when talking about the state of our politics in the midst of a government shutdown, by the way, that has unfolded since October 1st. Take a listen to what I had to say last week, please. You Jazmine Crocket or somebody like that. Ladies, I respect intelligent women, no doubt. But how a Jazmine Crocket chooses to express herself, I'm like, is that going to help your district in Texas? Aren't you there to find a way to get stuff done as opposed to just being an impediment to what Trump wants? How much work goes into that? I'm just going to go off about Trump, cuss him out every chance I get, say the most derogatory, incendiary things imaginable, and that's my day's work. That ain't work. Work is saying that's the man in power. I know what his agenda is. I'm not exactly in a position to stop him since the Republicans have the Senate and the House. But maybe if I'm willing to work with this man, I might get something out of it for my constituency. Because like Joe Manchin said, he's there to represent, or was there for 15 years to represent, the people of West Virginia. She's supposed to be there to represent the people of Texas. I don't know. Maybe that just sounds ignorant because it's so simple. But it ain't that damn complicated. We make it complicated. Damn, it's frustrating. It really can be. And all the verbiage and all the nonsense that I've heard over the last few days is why it can get exhausting. Because nothing frustrates me more than when people have the truth at their disposal and they choose, maybe not lie, maybe not even embellish, but allow their emotions to usurp facts, and all of a sudden want to use that as an excuse to label me as being something and doing something I'm neither not nor have I done, which in this case is disrespecting Representative Crocket out of Texas, who, by the way, has had an invite to this show for weeks, by the way. Governors Josh Shapiro and Spencer Cox came on this show. Senator Lindsey Graham came on this show. Joe Manchin, now retired, came on this show. Bill O'Reilly, Bill Maher came on this show. Okay? And more coming. And she has an invite. And AOC has an invite. Hakeem Jeffries, Democratic House leader, he just was on this show. I've invited Jazmine Crocket. I have nothing but respect for her. I just disagree on what she's making headlines for because I think it's counterproductive to the ultimate goal. But yet, here we are, and the word disrespect comes in, and people try to engage with words, you know, like disrespect and implying misogyny and all of this other nonsense. Stop it. Stop it. Can we be grown-ups and deal with what the real issue is involving what I said? Willie D, Roland Martin, Bakari Sellers, and Angela Rye, who I have profound respect for. I mean, the list goes on and on with all of these people. I don't have their names in front of me. To my producer that texted to me, I don't have my phone on me right now, so I apologize for not having those names in front of me. But I'm what are we talking about? How's it disrespectful to say what I said? Could you just disagree? Could we just say, yo, Stephen A., I disagree with you. Here's why. We got Willie D. And
all right, let's go ahead and address this because I did it in a short 10-minute little clip. I never went to the extent to really talk about what he was going in on. I didn't hear anything wrong. I didn't. You know, one of the biggest problems that we have here in the United States is that everybody is sensitive. Nobody likes critique. Nobody likes to be wrong. Nobody likes to be told by another person that they are incorrect whatsoever. People like Stephen A. Smith, Willie D., and the numbers of men and women who use these platforms on a daily basis, when they give their opinions and their views and their statistics on anything, they are either going to tell you the whole truth or nothing but the truth, or they're going to be political. And when they're being political, they're trying to protect their paychecks. They're trying to keep their jobs. They are not trying to break any relationships that they have with other people who are in higher positions than they are. The ones that have the caviar and the yachts, and they can get on private jets and go to and fro as they please. There are people who are protecting their positions, protecting their counterparts. And there are people who don't really give a shit about protecting nobody. What's right is right, and what is wrong, straight up. And we don't really have enough of that on social media. You're either a conspiracy theorist and you're just cropping and photoshopping shit and tagging keywords that trigger the algorithm to bring in a certain audience, or you're being raw and authentic and you're getting censored for everything that you say out of your mouth. You got 5 people who watch you, but them 5 people watch you because they respect your view, because they know that you are not a counterfeit. You will say whatever it is that is on your mind, whether or not people agree or disagree with it, and they are not hurt by it because they know that is the truth. Those 5 people mean more than that 25,000 that are watching. That 5 means more than that 1.6K that is watching. Why? Because that 1.6K that is watching, they believe in whatever the hell you say out of your mouth. I get attacked daily over comments that I said about Cardi B because you're a fan of Cardi B. And because you worship the ground that she walks on, it's impossible for her to be wrong about anything. Little old me says Cardi B is full of shit because Cardi B is full of shit. You're not going to convince me that a woman who has come from the slums, drugged and robbed people, it's documented, by the way. You can't tell me that somebody who has lived in those conditions does not know that the rest of America, for the most part, struggle to survive, struggle to pay their rent, struggle with the prices constantly going up on a regular basis. Don't do that. Don't play with my intelligence like that. The government know we struggling. That's why they keep on fucking us over every chance they get. The tariffs is bullshit. The tariffs are designed to keep us broke. Everything that the American people are dealing with the EBT shit, all the way down to the taxes, to the tariffs, to the housing, all that shit is designed to keep us broke and poor and to keep us bitter and angry against each other. Cardi B is full of shit, but y'all love her. Y'all don't give a fuck that she robbed and drugged niggas. Y'all don't care about that shit. You ain't gonna convince me that she don't know that niggas is out here broke and struggling. Why you think everybody's in such an outrage about the fucking EBT shit getting cut off? Because people can't afford, you can't afford to pay your electricity, your rent, your car insurance, your gas, tithing, all you can't afford to do all of that and then put food in the house. Niggas be at the gas station making life decisions. Do I buy my cigarettes or do I put 10 on pump 3? Am I lying? We're literally trying to decide, damn, do I buy the food or do I accommodate for my addictions and my habits? Do I buy this blunt or do I buy my groceries for the rest of it? Like, come on, man. You know damn well you know what's up. And my point is, there are people that you're going to agree with and disagree with. That's just the way of the world. I accepted that a long time ago. You ain't going to agree with everything I say. I'm not even going to be right on everything I say, my nigga. Like, we're not going to sit here and pretend like we know everything. I don't. You might know more than me, and I'm cool with that. Correct me if I'm wrong, okay? I will concede. I have no problem with that. I'm humble enough to be wrong if I'm wrong. But a lot of people are full of shit. Y'all be crying and getting in your feelings over things that could really be accurate. Stephen A. Smith made comments based on his observation, just like the rest of us. Just like when you're on YouTube or you're on Twitter or you're on Rumble or you're on IG and you're arguing with people under the comment sections about things that they say, when you could just easily go to somebody else's comment or just ignore them. If you don't agree, just walk away from it. That's all you got to do.
It's a T1 Pro. It feels like purple and white.
Hey, little bro, how the fuck you feel the color purple? It's Valentine's Day. Go to a bar, touch some grass, get some bitches. Virgin. Motherfucker says, I feel purple.
You got all the autonomy in the world to do and go as you please. Nobody is holding anybody hostage on anybody's content. Why are you crying? Why are you trolling? Why are you angry? Why are you bitter? Why are you going back and forth with people over their own opinions? You either agree or disagree and keep it moving. You don't have to stay there in it. You're self-sabotaging yourself. But see, one of the things that I appreciate with this is that it exposes people for being hypocrites. It exposes people for being dismissive, for being emotional, for being insensitive, having lack of compassion or empathy. It reveals who is really being an adult and who is really not really trying to be there for all intent and purposes of finding a solution to the problem. You don't want the problem. You don't want the solution. You want to embrace the ignorance, which strategically works out for men and women who are in the real seats, controlling the narratives and creating the divide between the people. Congratulations. So when Stephen A. Smith says what he says about her, I had to really think about it for a second. I sat there, I watched Anton Daniels, I sat there, I watched a number of other content creators have their opinions and their points of views on it. I engaged with a few people. I said, nope, not about to listen to you. Don't want to hear it. Nope, I'm good. And then I came to the conclusion that this is the way the world is. You just can't please everybody. You want change, right? Are you angry at how the government is treating the people? Are you upset with our president? Are you upset with the lies that is being pushed consistently on social media? Does it bother you? Are you angry that ICE is doing what it's doing? They're pretty much arresting people that have no business being arrested. They're moving recklessly throughout the country. Are you mad at what's going on in Chicago? Are you mad at the laws that's being passed? Are you upset with the LGBTQ community occupying spaces for children that are being harassed and touched on by grown-ass men and women that are identifying themselves as something that they're not? Are you angry with that? Are you angry enough to stand up and go and do something about it? Are you angry enough to support the people who will speak about these things unapologetically and don't really care about getting censored? That's the bigger question. Stephen A. Smith attacked her approach. This is what I gathered from it. And then I'm going to play the other video where he apologizes. He addressed her style, right? There are people who can talk to you kind and gentle, and they can use big, elaborate words to sway you into believing that they are for you and they care. And there are other people that are aggressive. They're loud. They talk fast. They're animated. And that works for some people. Know your audience. What he's speaking on is you're a black woman representing the rest of the black community, and you're representing a vast number of people. I can see what you're trying to accomplish. I respect it. I actually admire it. However, your approach is not going to get you the results that you desire. That is the translation that I got from what he's saying. You cannot take that stereotypical behavior pattern in that atmosphere. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and say what he's trying to say. You can't bring that ignorant ass black shit into this fucking house with these white people. That shit is not going to cut it over there. You can't do that there. You got to change your language and your lingo. You're going to have to approach this shit differently. These white people don't move, or you can't do that there. But you should already know that. You should. Now, I'm gonna tell you like this. I ain't mad at her. I love how she come at these people. She don't sugarcoat shit. I like that. I hate politics. I fucking hate politics. Because all you're really doing is lying and hiding behind other paywalls because you don't want to be exposed or held accountable for participating in the fuck shit that they're doing to the rest of us. So you dress up your words with your fancy suits and you hang around with these rich Congress people and all. Hey there, I just want you to know it. I don't want to hear that shit. I want you to tell me the fucking truth. You don't fuck with us. You don't like us. You want us broke. You want us miserable. You want us slaving. You want us working the rest of our life, paying you and keeping you rich. Say that. Don't sit up here and try to make all these policies and say all this goofy bullshit. We don't believe you. We've like, come on, man. Come on, stop it.
Cut it out.
You can't be. It's like you take your drunk uncle or that one uncle you know don't know how to carry themselves nowhere. You know they're gonna start some shit. They just can't be around certain type of people just because you can't have that over here. So for the women and the people out there that's saying that this man, especially Willie D, saying that he's tearing her down and this, that, and the third, I be really wondering how the hell do some of y'all be having the platforms that y'all have? That's like me assuming that this is this, and I didn't stuck my. You know how many times I done stuck my foot in my mouth so many times because I thought or I assumed something was one thing when it really was something else. That's what we do a lot. We don't take time to understand context. We just automatically go with what we assume it is based off of what we see initially. We take the words within the structure of the statements and then we internalize it to be something that it really isn't, based on traumas that we have associated ourselves with, and then we put that on other people, misinterpreting the whole conversation, the whole point of the topic. The topic goes off course, the whole stream gets fucked up, the whole dialogue gets diluted. And then before you know it, you arguing with everybody else but the person that is actually the problem. That's all that shit really be, man.
You didn't say that. Tell me you did not just say that.
But I digress. Let me go to this apology real quick. I'm gonna go to the next one. That one was about 3 minutes or so. Let me blow that up real quick.
I wanted to take a moment because, and I made some noise. I wanted to take a moment because I saw something disturbing in regards to President Donald Trump and how he came at Representative Jazmine Crocket. And I wanted to take this opportunity to attack this issue as it pertained to me and Jazmine Crocket, because I personally have had an issue with how things have been misconstrued and misinterpreted. But at the end of the day, I have to own it. And that's what I'm going to do today. And so when somebody says to me, Stephen, rather than point to her and her verbiage and her language and how she talked about the president, what about how he talks? I have no problem with that. I can understand that. And if that is the reason that everybody is in an uproar, that is fine. And I have no problem apologizing to my sister, because damn it, I want her to know I don't feel that way about her. Just like I didn't feel that way about Kamala Harris. Just like I don't feel that way about the marvelous, the wonderful, the incomparable, the greatest first lady ever, and Michelle Obama, in my estimation, or anybody else. But what we're going to do on this show is understand who the hell I am and how it's going to be as long as I'm doing this show. I have no problem apologizing if I'm wrong. I have no problem apologizing if I've made somebody feel a certain kind of way. But I'm going to challenge the legitimacy of what people come at me with when I think that challenge is warranted and deserved. If you came to me and you said to me that it came across as a bit dismissive, Stephen, you should have been more protective of her than that because look at how he speaks. Look at how they act on Capitol Hill towards her. I understand that. But when somebody tries to take that to accuse me of being disrespectful or in any way misogynistic, I'm going to push back on that because that's emphatically false. There's no truth to that whatsoever, and I'm not accepting that, and I'm not owning that. I can sit up there and I can look at Representative Jazmine Crocket. Do you know what I think she should be doing? I think she should be competing for the Senate seat in Texas or for the Attorney General spot because she's qualified. I personally think Kamala Harris should have ran for governor of California. I've said it for the record that if Michelle Obama was running for president, she would have beat Trump, in my opinion. I think she'd have done it. That's how I feel. But somehow, some way, it's never enough for some people out there. I understand. I would advise you to get over it or buckle up because I'm not going away. This is my show. I will say what I feel and I will do what I want. It doesn't mean I'm going to be insensitive. It doesn't mean that I don't care about our community. A matter of fact, most of the trouble I get in is because I care about our community. And the reason I'm bringing this up and the reason that I'm willing to attack this subject, because this really ain't about Jazmine Crocket. I respect her. I wish her nothing but the best. I was simply asking a question. That's all. What's working for you? Because I don't want her to lose the prowess that she has. I want it to continue to gain and elevate. We need resistance to what we see going on in the streets of America. I wanted to take.
So.
Oh, that does sound good. I'll be right back with that for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, how many times have you witnessed somebody get fired because they didn't know how to handle a situation the right way? How many times have you been in a situation where an argument ensued because you just suck at communicating? In a perfect world, every single soul that sat in front of a camera, turned it on for an hour, they would do nothing but tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. They would expose the Illuminati. They would give you the Epstein files. They would reveal what's really going on with the president, with everybody that has ever stepped foot in the seat. Everybody would just tell the truth, and it would just be easy peasy. The criminals would get locked away. The pedophiles included, everybody, all the criminals would just go away. And then we wouldn't have this man versus woman thing going on. You wouldn't hear the word misandry and misogynist all the time. That's not how it works. You either want the truth or you don't want it. We got to stop being sensitive about everything. Now, I believe that he has a way of adapting without getting terminated from his position. A part of me really feels like he is secretly an agent or undercover playing both sides. I don't really trust many people that have thousands and thousands of people that watch them. And I'm gonna tell you why. See, Stephen A. Smith, he's a great analysis. He's extremely good at what he does, just like a lot of successful streamers and broadcasters. You know, you wouldn't be in that position if you weren't. The problem I have is us as humans, we're very fickle and we're very impressionable. So if you like a person, they can pretty much get away with anything. They can say whatever the fuck they want because you're a fan of them. You like their style, you like their technique, their approach, their setup. You like and appreciate the lifestyle that they have. You wish you could be in their position. We romanticize being in the positions of some of the folks that we idolize and put on a pedestal. So you tend to be more lenient towards those type of folks, which is dangerous because they know it. And they move off of the algorithm. They move off of them numbers that suggest that, well, we like drama. We like aggression. We like that hood stuff. We like that ignorant shit. We like you dressing up a piece of turd with icing, making it look like it's something that it isn't. We are just that way. And I don't really trust people like that have them huge followings because they ain't humble. I don't think that they have the same level of humility as most of us who are still grounded does. I believe truly that if they weren't getting the bonuses and the checks that they were getting, their approach to these discussions would be completely different. And I really look at people like Stephen A. Smith, and I think, well, he's being honest about some stuff, but he's also trying to play it like he don't see shit either. In this case, I'm 100% behind him. I don't think her approach is going to get the job. Like if she ran for president, if she was in the position that that Kamala Harris was in, I believe she could have won. She might have lost, but she could have won. One of the reasons why I believe she would have won because she's the way that she be snapping. We like that shit. We love that. Just tell them what's up. I remember watching one joint and she was like, man, y'all sitting up here playing in our face, man. We out here struggling. There's people right now that can afford. I ain't paying no mind to this community. What the fuck is up? She was on that. That's how she be going at people. And I'm like, damn, okay. Yeah, we need that. But these translucent people, man, a lot of them folks, they don't want that. Which is ironic because Donald Trump says and does whatever the hell he wants, and everybody seems to be okay with that. He says the most ignorant shit out of his mouth that you can think of. So I'm like, shit, well, if he can do it, this young sister right here, she definitely is more than capable. And she ain't guilty of fondling and doing no type of dirt. She ain't got none of that shit on her like he does. I think she would have been a far better president. But given the circumstances and the fact that we aren't even united, we're not. You will be though. As soon as them food stamps go away, everybody's gonna hold hands and say kumbaya then. But we're not really united. If we all came together and said, you know what, fuck the racism shit. You know what, this ain't really my neighborhood. This don't belong to me, my nigga. We all live here. We all poor. We all struggling. We all trying to make money. Instead of people arguing back and forth and trying to be spill police and all that, if we just said fuck all that, the real enemy is the government, and we went at the government as a whole, we would be far better, and we will be in way better conditions than we are. But we're not going to do it. Y'all mad at me. You mad at Stephen A. You mad at the person that lived next door to you. You mad at the person who posted on social media that said something about Nicki Minaj. Y'all sitting up. That's not even the real problem. None of that shit that we be arguing about on social media is really the issue. That shit is all a distraction. All of it.
Got pocket here, mate. Oh, fuck off.
None of that shit is really the dilemma. They signing off on bills. They're putting chips and shit. They're trying to get the mark put on people. They doing all this right in our face. We too busy arguing about Cardi B's album and Future and Andrew Tate and all these people who are established, either sold their soul or whatever. The fuck that got to do with the rest of us? These niggas don't give a fuck about us. Chris Brown don't give a shit about you. SZA don't give a shit about you. Jamie Foxx don't give a shit about you. Them people got their money. They ain't struggling. They ain't getting evicted. They ain't worried about crack and cocaine going in and out of their neighborhoods, them gated communities. These niggas ain't worried about black people breaking into their homes, and they don't have those problems. So why are you so concerned with their life? Baffles me. Why are you putting money in their pocket? I'm going off a topic. Stephen A. Smith ain't say nothing wrong. The fact that y'all sitting up there trying to villainize him and make it seem like he's doing this and doing that, you could, all right, like he said, give me a good reason why you would say that man is what he is. I believe he plays both sides of the field, just like a lot of content creators. But in this particular case, no. You think you about to take Bonquisha to the White House and have a civilized dinner or some shit? You think you about to sit up here and take somebody from a trailer park to the convention center and watch the quartet crew perform live for thousands of people? You're not. There are some people who are too indoctrinated by this toxic ass spiritually sick shit. They don't know how to act around people. That's not her. She has common sense. She's just passionate and overly doing it. It's counterproductive, because when they look at that shit and they listen to the way we talk, it's like, here go that ignorant ass nigga. Here go this ignorant ass nigga. Oh, that's all they hear and see. You black. You're black. Just you being black, they look at that shit like, oh, you already disqualified. Black people got to do 20 times the bulk of the work to get seen as somebody serious. I got to do double the work to be taken serious as a content creator, as a husband, as a protector, as a provider, as a government official, as somebody looking over a district. I got to be on my P's and Q's. I can't have no type of records. I can't have no flaws. I got to be spotless. She's not going to get across our pain and our suffering and our anger and our struggles going at these people the way that she does. That's all he's saying. That's what I got from it. But I mean, I digress. The mayor, well, the former mayor, Tiffany Henyard. Tiffany Henyard was a fucking disgrace. Tiffany Henyard made black people look terrible. That shit right there, that set us back as far as I'm concerned. We build momentum. We get people that are worth representing us in a position to do some good. Oh shit. This motherfucker done stole thousands and thousands of dollars from the community. She out here taking lavish trips and shit, getting fucking models built of her in her office and all that shit. No, we can't have that. And I'm sick and tired of trying or watching as we coddle these negative ass behaviors. Willie D, man. We don't need that ghetto hood shit. I'm over the ghetto hood shit. I am. Like, come on, man. Sid. What's up? Hold up. Your audio a little chipmunky right now. This little chipmunky.
Can you hear me better?
There you go.
My kids mess with my headphones, so now I can hear in them, but nobody can hear me on them. So, beats the point of headphones, I guess. So I see we're talking about Jazmine Crocket. When I saw that, I had to jump on because I love her. Just you can give me the gist because I already know quite a bit about what's behind the scenes.
Hold on. Let me mute you real quick.
Oh,
I'm getting an echo. Yeah, I was getting an echo. So basically, Stephen A. Smith has been getting harassed. He's been getting called all types of names under the sun because of his comments, basically saying that everything that she is doing is counterproductive to the cause that she is advocating for. And basically, the last 40 minutes or so, I'm essentially saying I understand where he's coming from. I understand why he said what he said. We do take things out of context. We are too sensitive, emotional. We, as a culture, we're not united. A lot of these folks are grifters. I don't really know where I stand with him clearly. I think that he kind of works both sides of the room, but he wasn't wrong with his assertion here. That's pretty much the gist of it, though.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about him per se, so I don't really know, like what you said, what his leaning is. But in general, there's a lot of politicians that are taking advantage of their power. The one that really stands out to me that I thought of with this was Marjorie, or no, not Mar. Was it Marjorie Taylor Greene? Oh no, Christy Nome, where she got two planes, two what do you call them? The big jets. For what reason? Like, a lot of these politicians are getting handouts, they're getting free stuff, and not the type of free stuff that us normal people get. Like, they're getting planes, they're getting billions, millions of dollars just from companies that want them to promote certain ideologies. We have people that are getting like special treatment from other countries. And in general, this is kind of a widespread problem. I mean, our own president is guilty of this. They're actually proposing a law to prevent companies from being able to give money to politicians for the purpose of their elections. Because as we've seen, there's numerous wealthy donors that have been contributing to elections to ensure that their preferred candidate gets in so they can get policies that favor them and their businesses. And this is no doubt contributing to this huge wealth discrepancy or disparity between the hyper rich and us, and is also why politicians make loads of money in their positions of power, because those types of companies that have that type of power are able to supercharge their campaigns and allow them to get farther than they would have just based on their ideology. Because I guarantee a lot of these politicians that are in office right now, regardless of, I mean, it's sad to say, I mean, I lean left, but Democrats are just as guilty of this as Republicans are. It's widespread. There's fraud on both sides of the aisle. And a lot of the people that are representing us are not actually representing us based on ideology. They're representing us based on how much money they can make and how many people they can convince that they're on our side. And in general, there really needs to be a rule made, a law put forth that if you are, there was originally, but people have found so many loopholes to get around it. But you should not, be able to get money for your election from wealthy donors, and you should not be able to get money while you're in office. So, because both of those incentivize them, whether it's implied or not, to do little favors for the people that are giving the money. I mean, we're seeing this right now with, as I said, with our president, where we have big name companies, Amazon, Mark Zuckerberg, who's the other one? I think Microsoft gave him money. A bunch of the really big conglomerates have given millions of dollars, if not in total billions of dollars, to make sure that they get some favor within the political community. So whether or not what he's saying is true about her, I know right now she's very much under attack because she's extremely outspoken against this regime. It's still a very real problem that exists throughout our government systems. There are people that are making money off of their various roles. They make dealings with people under the guise of like, oh, well, no, they're just trying to help us and whatnot, even though they're really just trying to push for special privileges for the companies to make sure they don't have as many taxes. And and I don't know if this is being done or not, but I've heard rumors that a lot of them are using them to get out of taxes as well, where they list them as like, oh, they're donations. So you can write them off on taxes. I don't know how widespread that is, but I would not doubt that is being done as well. And like, I keep bringing it up, but the perfect example is our president, because one of the things that he's doing that's very minor, but he should not be doing, is he has a Trump store. He sells Bibles, he sells rubber ducks, he sells clothing, he sells all kinds of random Timu crap with his name on it, and that is illegal. You are not allowed in public office to make money off of your name for the purpose of making money. You can sell merchandise, I believe, that are related to the US government, but if you're in a position, you're not allowed to create memorabilia of yourself for the purpose of making money. And obviously we also have a widespread issue of them misusing the funds that you're being given. I forgot which politician it is. I want to say it's Kristi Noem, but it might be somebody else, where they have dipped into additional funds and surpassed the amount that they've been given for their payroll. This is not a small problem. There's a number of politicians, including a number of them that have been excused by Trump when we were talking about all of the criminals that have been pardoned in the name of this government. There is the one name that comes to mind is Santos, George Santos, something like that. He was found guilty. Like, he took lavish vacations. He bought expensive clothes, like name brand clothes. He bought, I think, some vehicles and other types of lavish purchases using money from the government itself that was given to him for the purpose of his job. And again, this is not an isolated incident. If you look up fraud cases for congressmen, for senators, for various people in political positions, you will see it. You'll see them taking advantage of their who they are. You'll see it, them taking advantage of the funds that are allocated to them for government public purposes and being reused for their own private purposes under the guise of government stuff. And yeah, this is a huge problem. So I don't really know the truth behind Jazmine yet. I've heard these rumors before, but I don't know the truth behind them because, one, it's kind of hard to tell right now with how much disinformation is out there, how much they're trying to smear her name and make her look bad. And I can imagine, we never know. There are people that we like as politicians that maybe they did do something wrong. That can happen. Like, nobody's perfect. But the fact that it's a rampant issue and that it's really not on just one side. It's not just the Republicans, as much as we want to believe that. It's very much a problem within the whole government. And at all levels, obviously from the presidency down to the bottom. Like, there are people that work in I've heard of people involved in conspiracy that worked at the DMV or that worked at other smaller, like, parks and stuff like that, where they took advantage of funds. They funneled money secretly to their accounts. They used funds that were given to them for the purpose of buying stuff for whatever domain they were working in for their own public use, taking trips on government money, all kinds of stuff. I think, like, Santos, one of the ones he did was he bought a whole bunch of, like, Gucci outfits and Louis Vuitton and all these, like, fancy brands under the guise of it being like, oh, well, it's work clothing, even though these suits were like $10,000. So we really need to just have something that holds these people accountable and keeps better track of where this money is going. I mean, literally, like, 2 weeks ago, we talked about how $17 billion or million, whatever the number was, 17 something dollars went missing. Nobody knows where it is. Who knows where it went? This is the type of stuff that we really need to stop, because allowing people to make money off of their political positions is exactly why we end up getting these corrupt people that are willing to step into these positions to take advantage of us. Because if you are able to profit off of the job that you do, you are no longer a servant of the government. That's technically what they are used to be referred to, as their civil servants. And because you're able to make a business off of a position that should be for the people, and they're making it for themselves, it essentially enables criminals to get into these positions, because they think, oh, cool, if I take this job, I'm going to have access to millions upon billions of dollars, millions of people that I can trick into giving me money, like all the donations that people get just for getting elected. They don't have to use it for, or they don't have to disclose that they're not using it for the purposes of getting elected. They could easily funnel it towards buying a house, buying a car, buying a boat, buying 2 planes. So yeah, we just need better accountability, better tracking. And in general, we need to just ban this. People should not be allowed to take money from civilians, from companies, for the purpose of whatever their government work is, and for the purpose of their elections.
And that's why I said Tiffany Henyard ass ended up getting kicked the hell up out of there, because she was doing exactly that. Exactly that. As a black woman, you made it worse and made us look bad. You put us in a situation where it's like, oh, we got one. Now we're going to make it harder for them to speak up on anything. Because if she's doing it, I know someone else is going to do it. This is going to give me more reason to hold something over the rest of y'all head. And I'm really irritated by it, because when you say that Stephen A. Smith is basically Uncle Tom, show me evidence of it, right? A lot of what he said within the video, I agree with, but it's like, all right, you can have a person tell you the truth and tell you a lie at the same time. I think a lot of these politicians are exceptionally good at telling you the truth and a lie at the same time. That's why I don't listen to the news too much. I don't listen or watch a lot of content creators too much anymore, just because of that. I'm wondering, all right, this sounds good, but then I end up seeing another video where you're doing the complete opposite of what you said in this video. So it's like, all right, what are we doing here? Nofugazee got called out for his stuff, but he's still pushing his agenda, and people still eating it up. They're like Fresh and Fit. There are people who are doing. I just can't get behind it. Maybe I need to play the video again so that you can see exactly what was said.
I was going to add on to that too. You're exactly right with what you're saying, because it's not limited to politicians. We even see this with church. We're seeing these mega pastors funneling money to their private accounts that were public donations specifically for the church. I have heard of numerous charities that have gotten in trouble for the same thing, where the people that were heading up these charities were secretly funneling these donations that were supposed to go to war-torn nations, disabled children, people in hospitals, all sorts of individuals that need our help, and they were funneling that money to themselves for their purposes. And also, like you mentioned, we are also experiencing a plague of influencers that are also doing the same thing. I have seen countless stories of people pretending that their house burned down, or that their daughter was sick, or making up that they have cancer, or making up all these stories just so they can grift from the public and get free money under the guise of like, oh, give me sympathy, like please help me. And people do speak out both sides of their mouths just because they want to be able to get money from the public without looking that bad. And as I said before, if anybody is on social media, if anybody is on TV, they aren't doing, most of them, it's very rare that they're doing it out of the goodness of their heart. At the very least, they're doing it so they can at least develop a reputation. No matter what, if you are making money off of something, you're not doing it because very rarely you're not doing it just because you love it, just because you care. That's what volunteering is. It's when you love something so much you just want to give your time to it. But if you are making money off of something, especially in high powered positions, working on the news, being an influencer, being in the government, chances are you're getting something out of it. And that's part of the reason why you're doing what you do. And that's why I always say that it's super important to vet your sources whenever you're trying to quote something, say a fact, whatever news is out there. You have to understand the people behind where that information is coming from. Because if you dig deep into things, like this is what scientists have to do. Once you dig deep into things, you can see how their background, their interests, their belief systems are impacting what they say. And as you said, very often they're saying things that contradict themselves over and over again. They'll say one thing. I mean, JD Vance is the perfect example, and even Elon Musk as well, where they used to be Democratic. They used to be promoting Democratic ideology. But as soon as they saw an opportunity to get somewhere with a certain politician, they stepped in and said, oh, no, I'm a Republican. I've always been blah, 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 listing off all their belief systems that exactly contradict things that they said 10 years ago. And we have video evidence of it. And then they try to like, oh, no, that's not true. That's just they just cut up the video to make it look like I said that and blah, blah, blah. Like they have so many excuses for why they are contradicting themselves, but they never own up to the fact that you're probably changing your opinion because you're going to get somewhere by changing your opinion. You're going to impress certain people that will get you a little bit farther than you were able to get yourself. So it's really important to keep that in mind, no matter what media you're looking at, whether it's small individuals on social media that are just seemingly doing it out of the goodness of their heart, that want to share information, to the powerful individuals that literally lead countries, lead corporations, lead even donation-based organizations. Like there's a bunch of reputable or donation-based organizations that have gotten in trouble for essentially stealing money that were meant to be donations for people and not actually sending it to the people that the money was supposed to be for. So always be sure to investigate people that you give money to, that you take information from, because everyone has a motive. No matter what they say, everyone has a motive. And so you always have to know before you do something.
And in this case, shout out to Arcana. In this case, I don't trust many people in the government. I don't even know if I can count on one hand how many people I trust in the government, to be honest. That's not how you make money. You really want to make sure that your house is paid for, your property taxes is covered, and all. You better do your job. If that means shutting your mouth and picking and choosing when and where to say stuff, then you better do it. and that's how I look at most of them. I can't sit up here and pretend like I believe that most of them are honest. I don't believe many of them are. I'll put it like this, right? All right. For example, Sid, you there's people that you favor, right? And you have valid reasons for that. Now, I can concede to that and say, you know what? I see what you're talking about. However, the way human nature is set up, many people don't have integrity, or it's limited. Everybody, in the words of the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, everybody has a price. So if you offer this person enough money, they will absolutely send you up the river. There's only but a small group of people that won't. And guess what happens? They end up being removed from everything. They take them off the plaques. They take them off the billboards. You don't see them in movies no more. You don't see them in commercials no more. They just completely shadow ban them because they can't be compromised. How many people you know can't be compromised in 2025? How many?
Nothing beats a Jet2 holiday. And right now, you can save £50 per person. That's £200 off for a family of 4.
You're not going to convince me. Sorry. Like, people literally sell their soul. Sell their soul for success and fame and notoriety, attention, a vast number of men and women who will flock to their every desire and demand. Who's going to turn that deal down? But I mean, how do put it this way? Can you play both sides of the field and still be considered a representative of the country?
I think you can, only if you're playing both sides in the way that you're trying to make sure that everyone benefits from the policies that you're putting forth. If you are genuinely trying to make people's lives better and you are doing this without caring about who they are, I think you can, but it's not very common because unfortunately, as human beings, we have certain biases that are very hard to let go of, especially if they've been ingrained into you. And especially if go that way. And especially if they are, as I said, benefiting from that. Because if you are benefiting from whatever you're doing, there's always going to be an underlying favor for a specific group. You're always going to have a bias. Like, for example, if I was a politician, I would naturally, not by choice, but just because of how I am and how I've been raised and what I see around me, I'm going to have a slight bias towards women because I naturally, like, from what I've seen and what I see on news media and what I've had from personal experience, there's, as much as I try to be unbiased, there's still small parts of me that will always see women as more vulnerable than men. And so I'll have a more slight bias towards that group of people. Or like as a mother, I'll always have a slight bias towards people that have children because I'll understand what having children is like and I'll want to support people that are in those situations, or because my husband's in the military, I'll have a slight bias towards people who are in the military. So even if I have the best intentions, I'm still going to have something that's pulling me to one side or the other. And so even though it's possible, it is very hard to play both sides, especially because each side will cling to certain ideologies. As we've seen, people on the right tend to be more religious, and people on the left tend to be more secular. And so, in that sense, you can't please everyone. There's no way that you can make every single person happy with the policies. There will always be individuals that are not for certain policies. There will always be hating individuals that don't really care about anybody else except themselves, and if it gets taken away from them and given to somebody else, they don't like it. And so it's never completely possible to make everybody happy, but I think it is possible to take a position where you try to get the best for everyone, regardless of their association and status. But again, we're living in a society right now that the loudest person is the one that gets the most views, the most likes, even if what they're saying is fake or awful. Like we see this all the time with clickbait. Like even if what they're saying is completely egregious, we all know it's egregious and it's harmful for whatever population. We still watch it because because people are shocked by it. And so they watch it to be like, is this real? And that still gets them views. And if you make money off of views, you're still going to make money by saying shocking things, even if it's makes the majority of the people that are watching it unhappy. So I think it is possible. It's just this society has made it incredibly difficult to do that. And then unfortunately also our psychology works against us as well. And as you said too, there's a self-protecting mechanism inside us. And so naturally we're always going to want, like, everyone is going to have that desire that they want more than the next person, that they want their life to be just a little bit better than somebody else's, because it makes you feel good. It makes you feel successful. It makes you feel whatever type of feeling that it ends up creating for you. But again, that also creates a bias, because if you know that you're going to get something out of something, you're more likely to do it, because very few people are going to be like, oh, I don't get anything out of this. Okay, sign me up. Like, people don't work that way. We do the things that we value. We do the things that we think will get us somewhere. Like, even myself, I absolutely love this podcast. This is one of my favorite parts of the day, and I always look forward to this. But I also do it knowing that I'm going to be writing books and I want to get my work out there. And so there is, as much as I love this, there is still a selfish reason for me doing this. And we can't forget that even people that are passionate about what they do, they still will always have an underlying reason for what they do beyond their passion. People aren't going to work for free. People don't want to work just to do grunt work and whatever. Like, they have to have something behind it, but they also have a motive behind that. So it's important to keep that in mind with anyone. We're going to have our biases, which can make it very hard to appease everyone. But what we really should get is the people that are willing to work with both sides, even if they don't agree with what they have to say. And really, those are the ones that are the most effective leaders, because they recognize the needs of everyone without villainizing them, and are honest about how they feel, but they're still working for the best of everyone.
I agree completely. We don't have enough of it. I don't even believe. Well, let me rephrase that. You do have a few that are pretty much neutral, and I can appreciate it. Whether or not they are given the recognition that they deserve is questionable. I don't know. It's one of those those days where I'm listening to you, I'm seeing the posts and everything that is being pushed on my timeline shows me reasons why I need to stay away from certain stuff, why I need to be humble, why I need to consistently remind myself why everything is not what you think it is. You see a post, it says a 3-year-old accidentally pulled the trigger on somebody. How likely are you really going to believe that happened? Because folks will just make up stories just for attention. Like, you can't believe everything that you see. And I'm thinking, damn, are people really that attention deprived? From a psychological point of view, not even just physical touch, just mentally, are people has social media starved people for attention, validation, acceptance that bad that you will literally go into a space, embrace it as if it is actually a reality, when this is either AI generated or it is created by the hands of someone who understands what the people are paying attention to, and they're going to pretty much give you what you want, whether or not it's real or not. The fact that you got your eyes locked on this, that's enough for me to go ahead and profit off of it. And that's why I am very paranoid, I guess, if you want to say that. I'm very paranoid of the speakers. Anyone who has millions of subscribers, I'm paranoid of them. I'm fair. I will watch. I mean, the numbers suggest that you have something of value for me to consume. So I'm gonna watch. But see, here's the difference between me and a lot of people. When I watch, I'm watching to see if there's consistency. I'm watching to see if you have that anointing on you. I'm watching to see if your experience aligns in divinity like mine does. I'm watching to see if you have a relationship with God, or if there's any presence of his light on you in which you display on the camera. I'm looking to see if you are who you say you are, or if you're a carbon copy of something else, but you have the numbers to support you. That does not mean anything to me. Like I said before, a person with 5 followers could have way more substance behind them than someone with 20,000.
And once you have that much of a following or a ton of money, I brought up this quote before: if you make over a certain amount, your pro-social behavior, your willingness to help people goes down with every amount of money you make over that. Because once you have a certain reputation, you're going to act a certain way to make sure you maintain that reputation. And if you're an influencer, your reputation is dependent on how many eyes you can pull in. Whereas if you're in political atmospheres, it's eyes and money that you can pull in. And you're also going to cater to certain groups, whichever one has more influence, more sway. And with both of them, politics and influencers, whatever is popular matters once you're a certain level, because you don't want to go against the flow, because that can make you lose your followers. And if your life is based around getting as many followers as possible, you don't want to go against the flow. And that's why we're seeing this rise in micro trends where one month you're a mob wife, and the next month you're a clean girl, and the next month you're sad beige mom, the next month after that you're like whatever, and they don't even know what they are anymore. They're just like, oh, this is popular now, okay, I'm gonna go buy 1,000 of them and make money off of that. Oh, Labubu's, oh, Stanley Cups, oh, these jars that are like $50 a jar, and you could just get cans at the supermarket, but no, you're gonna spend $60 on a jar because it's popular. This is the type of stuff that is taking over. And like you said, my child is so loud. Like you were just saying, people are going to pretend to be somebody that they're not just because that's going to get them views. They're going to put on the persona that is the most popular right now, and they're going to do the things that are the most eye-catching because that's what gets them the views. And people don't care about substance anymore. And I think that, like social media in general, seeing that around you, seeing all these people living fake lives and putting on this, like, this is my perfect home, and look at all the makeup I have, and look at all the purses I have, and look at my closet and my perfectly curated blah, 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 blah. They have all this stuff. And the people that are kind of in the middle, that don't really have anything that they're passionate about, that don't have anything they're really working towards or that they are really attached to, they're going to follow that crowd because they're going to be like, oh, I want to be that. I want to look like you. I want to be like you. I want to have the life like you. Because people think that if you buy the things, you'll become the thing. But that's not true. You don't become something by owning all the objects. You become something by embracing it, by doing things, not buying things. And a lot of people have lost touch with that. They don't understand that. Like, it took me a long time to realize that. I was like in high school, college, I was always like, oh, what is everyone else wearing? Like, oh, that's popular right now. I got Ugg boots because that was the thing that everyone was wearing. And I was like, oh, I need Ugg boots now. And this is something that we all go through, but not everyone has the exposure to good minds that are able to get them out of that habit. It really takes being surrounded by the right people and exposing yourself to the right people and watching social media content that actually betters you rather than people that are like, hey, look at this amazing makeup that I used this morning. Hint, hint, I got it on this website. Hint, hint. And it's like, we know that you're getting paid to do this. Even though they don't say that they're sponsored videos, we still know when they're showing off the 20-item makeup morning routine that they do. They're not doing this every morning. They're doing this because they get money from those companies to say that they're doing those things. That's why these people are having these like massive hauls where they spend $10,000 and have like 1,000 boxes everywhere, showing off the purses, the shoes, the clothes, the makeup, the cover up, the lotions, everything, because they're getting paid to show these things. But now with the way that they're able to kind of manipulate the content, it makes it seem like they're using these items, but they're not. And so a lot of people are tricked by this. And also social media has made us very socially isolated. We no longer are going out and doing things. Group activities are at a record low. Like, people don't go to libraries anymore. People, unless they enjoy being outdoors, aren't going to go to parks because they want to go to a park. They're going to the park so they can film themselves at the park and then they leave. People are filming themselves at the gym so they can show people that they were at the gym. And then as soon as they're done filming, they leave. Like, people don't do things to do things anymore. They do things to show people that they're doing things. I've seen video after video of people filming themselves on a plane, filming themselves in the gym, filming themselves at the park, filming themselves in a restaurant, getting mad at people who are walking down the street who just happen to walk in their stupid videos. And it's become a plague. Like, so many people are, as you said, hungry for attention, that they're doing whatever they can and have a bad attitude about it to get this attention. And we don't have substance anymore. We don't focus on values that actually matter, like having integrity, like being an honest person, like being an enjoyable person to be around. I cannot tell you how obnoxious it is to hang out with friends who are more interested in taking photos with you than actually experiencing the aquarium that we went to. Like, I don't care to be in your pictures. I just want to look at the fish. And we don't have very many of those people anymore. Very few people actually care about bettering themselves, care about learning, and doing things that do things for them. They want to do things that get them the views, that are places they can buy stuff, because then they can show people that they bought those things. It's an epidemic of people going places just to buy the stuff, just to show people that they have the stuff. Disney people are like one of the biggest offenders in that area, where they literally just film themselves going to Disney and bragging about how much money they spent at Disney and showing off all the stuff that they bought at Disney for prices that I wouldn't even spend on like an animal to buy an animal. I'm like, why are you spending $1,300 at a single day? I'm like, that is what I spend a month on food. Like, what? It's crazy, but they get views for it. So we really have to kind of find a way to return society back to value-based importance. Like, I don't even know how this would be done, because it's sad because minds can't really be changed if they don't want to change. And I don't think a lot of these people even realize that they'd want their life to change. They're so stuck in this, like, but that's what I need. Like, I need to be famous. I need to, a record number. I think they said the majority of kids these days in school say that their goal in life is to be a social media influencer, not a scientist, not a doctor, not an engineer. They want to be influencers. And I think the number is like 9 out of 10 and something like that. And that's just sad. Like, we can't all be influencers. We can't all be advertisements. I mean, that's what we're becoming, walking advertisements. And when you are so focused on getting money and getting clout in every other way, you don't care about other people, because all you care about is how many clicks you can get based on what you say. So one of the things that I really emphasize for people is to get away from this life. You kind of have to cut it off completely. Unless you're coming at it with an educational sense in mind, like kind of like what I do, or what a couple of my people that I follow, like people that promote science and promote educational topics, promote understanding the world around you. If you're just showing off your life, showing off products, bragging about how much money you spent, cut that stuff out. You don't need to watch that. You don't need to promote that stuff. Find other things that bring you joy. Do a sport. Start going to places like museums and parks and libraries and things that you can better yourself from and learn about. The more we learn about history, the more we realize how much damage we've done to ourselves, into our country, into our minds. And finding friends that actually care about you, because I also see this within friend groups where they're more interested in the friends that are also popular, that are also fancy social media people and wanting to go shopping all the time and whatnot. Like, you have to find people that want to be with you for who you are, not for what you have and what your house looks like and what clothes you wear. And like spending less time in the clubs and the malls and all these other places that are literally just to show off what you're doing. Like, find things that you actually genuinely enjoy, that bring you happiness to do. And I think we'd all be better off if we did that, if we started cutting ourselves off from all of these advertisements that we see everywhere. I mean, we're even seeing, they just released a fridge that is like $1,800, and you have to pay extra every month to not have advertisements shown on the screen on your fridge. I'm like, oh, what? It's crazy. So yeah, cut yourself off from these advertisements and understand that you can't buy your way to happiness. You cannot make yourself into a person that you want to be just by buying those things. You aren't going to learn yoga by buying a yoga mat. You learn yoga by doing yoga, by watching videos on how to do yoga and by practicing. You don't become a doctor by buying scrubs. Like if I bought scrubs today, I wouldn't be able to walk into a hospital and be like, all right, where's the patients? Let me help. Like you can't become things just because you look like them. And that's what we're experiencing right now is people think that all you have to do is look the part to be the part. And we really have to start getting away from that.
And you can start getting away from it by exposing the people for who they really are. And I'm talking about every single one of these politicians, all of them dressed the part, suit and tie. Everybody has a costume. Police have their uniform and their badge. Firefighters have their uniforms and their patches. The army, they have their uniforms. Politicians have theirs. I don't believe the only way any of this stuff is going to turn around is when Jesus returns and he takes his seat to bring balance back. Because we are selfish. We are greedy. We want what we want. We're very hard-headed.
Gluttonous as well.
Exactly. And as long as you have the batting of the eye, you have the flashy jewelry, the cars, you have folks saying, hey, look at me. If you do what I do, you can too. You can have this as well. $59.99 per month. And I will get you in the best seats possible. You can sit right here in front with the rest of the guys and girls who subscribe to the monthly blah 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 blah. You know exactly what I'm talking about. As long as you got people that's doing that type of shit, nah. Because what? People don't want to be lonely. They don't want to be miserable. They don't want to be broke. But they also want to be lied to. They don't want to be controlled, but they want to be controlled. What am I talking about? When a woman or a man says they don't like authority, you are lying. Because who's signing your paychecks? Who is dictating what you say and don't say on social media? I'll wait. So as long as you work for somebody, you can never say that you don't want to this or that. I don't want to hear that. You hate the police, so you pretend to be the police in your own neighborhoods, in your own jurisdictions. You create your own policies and your own laws and your own rules, even though you still conform to the ones that we already have set against us. Congratulations, you played yourself. You definitely played yourself. So it's ironic and it's hilarious when I hear people give advice or they tell you to do this and tell you to do that, but you are still listening to somebody else and you can't stand your job. You hate going there every morning. But you guess what? You want them lights to stay on, right? Cool. Awesome. Just saying. It sounds nice though. It does. I mean, do you believe that Jazmine Crocket has and I made a statement earlier. I don't think you were here for it. I said that she could have been a president. I said if you replace her with Kamala Harris, she could have very well won, but she wouldn't have. She would have, but she wouldn't have. And my thing was her style and her approach is no different than his, except his disrespect is towards the people in general. Her attitude is towards the patterns and the behaviors of humans. He's mocking you and talking shit. It's part of my language. She's condemning what we've been suffering from. So I'm like, with her approach and how I think she definitely could have ran. A lot of people would be like, "Oh yeah, I like that." Scold him. But she wouldn't have won because there's a group of folks that don't like that talk, that lingo, and that's where this all comes back to Stephen A. Smith saying you can't talk like that to the president. You can't have that type of attitude or that type of mindset going into this. I hear what you're saying, but you're going to have to approach it differently. That's what this is all about. So do you think someone in her position, her color, could have ran for office or could actually win if she decided to?
I think that the masses would, especially now, would be in favor of choosing her. I think if she had run in 2024, I don't know if I have faith that she would have won just because of the corruption that's been involved. I don't think that she would have lost because of who she was. I think, or because of like her caliber and her skill, but I think she would have probably lost because of the ideology of this country, because there is still a very rampant issue with white supremacy in this country. Ross Vout, something like that. He is behind the Project 2025 manifesto, and he was a huge component in inspiring these people to select Trump. And so there was a massive movement behind Trump, behind the scenes. It was not just him. There was a lot of parties, players behind this that were pushing this forward. And so I don't believe that she could have gotten it against all of them. But if it was a normal election, I think 1,000% she could have won. And all the comments about her being performative or whatever, I think are wrong, because what she is she's angry. She sees from behind the scenes what is happening. She sees the irony, the lies, the what's the other word that I'm trying to think of? Not conspiracy, but basically how they're talking out of two sides of their mouth. They're lying to us and they're pretending that they care about us, but they don't. And as my mother-in-law said, she's what the people that don't want women in power or Black people in power are seeing is, oh, she's just an angry Black woman. And so they dismiss her as like, oh, she's just emotional. Oh, she's just blah, blah, blah. So I think the people that recognize what's happening in this country, that recognize how dangerous of a territory we are in intellectually and politically, would have wanted her to win. And I think that in a normal environment, she would have a very, very strong possibility to win. And I mean, if she ran in the future, I also think she'd have a pretty good chance at winning as well, as long as she was able to pick up a good vice president that people were able to get behind as well. I think one of my issues with Kamala was her passiveness. Like, she seemed more willing to kind of pander to both sides. And what I really didn't like is instead of calling out Trump on his BS and calling out the others on their BS, is she was basically like, oh, you're going to do that? So am I. And I don't think that worked. What I love about Jazmine is she will call you out and she will have facts to back it up. She'll say, oh, you said this? Nope. I actually have this quote that you said on this date at this time in this place. And here are all the facts that dispute what you just said. Or, oh, well, you said this right now. Well, actually, a couple months ago, you said this. So are you lying now or were you lying then? And I love that energy because that is what we need right now. That is how we're able to call out all of these politicians that are playing us for a fool. And we need someone as well that has energy behind her or them. We need somebody that has that deep passion combined with knowledge. We've been having a lot of people that have one or the other, where they're either very passionate, but they aren't as well versed. And then we have others that are, they have the knowledge, but they don't have the gusto behind it. Like Joe Biden, as skillful and knowledgeable and how much experience he's had, he did not have the energy that we needed in this country right now. And I think it dimmed the interest in participating in politics. And he really didn't get the type of turnout that we needed because of his low energy kind of feelings. I mean, even with Obama, like a lot of people didn't like him. But you have to admit, like, he had an incredible energy and a way to energize the country into feeling like we were actually going to be able to make a difference, that things were actually going to get better. And I think, sadly, that's one of the things that Trump had on Kamala is he's so outspoken and he's so willing to point things out and like make outrageous statements that it was kind of in the same way as influencers. It was easier to get farther than her because, number one, he had his name behind him, but also his wild energy made people like, oh, he's actually going to do something. This is what we need. Like, we don't need a tired president. We don't need somebody that's just going to like mumble around and not do anything. And so I think that was a small part of the reason why he was able to get so much support, despite him being a completely crazy individual, for just for lack of better terms. But we need somebody now that can bring vibrance back into the political environment, like that can inspire these disenfranchised communities and make them feel like they're actually being cared for, and to have the facts to back it up, to have the expertise needed. And I think Jazmine has a law history. She very clearly is not going to back down if somebody challenges her. I believe that she would be very capable of working on the global sphere as well. Trump definitely does not have the ability to create good relations with our other countries. And so if it isn't her, we need somebody like her. Somebody with that energy, with that excitement, and that understanding of what people are going through right now. And being a rich, wealthy white man is not very good experience to understand what people are going through. Because when you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth, you don't know what life is actually like. You know what it's like to have things handed to you. And that's really all he knows. And so that's why that's why it's so easy to surround him with goons that are willing to just like bow down at his feet and kiss his ass, because that's his whole life, is people handing him everything. And if he doesn't get what he wants, he just threatens them. So we need somebody that actually understands us and has the energy to actually push that forward.
Or just be yourself. If people don't like you for being yourself,
The bottom line, we need more truth tellers. We need people who are not afraid to tell the unmitigated truth. The reality is They have been against the people for many generations, and they will continue to be against us for many more generations because we are the workers, we are the survivors, we are the maintenance people, we are the ones that put the money in their pocket. We keep them safe and cozy and comfortable in their gated communities. We give you life. We give you purpose. You wouldn't be an entertainer without us. You wouldn't be a politician without us. There would be no need for politicians if there was no group of people who were looking for direction. At the end of the day, I'm not mad at what he said. I'm not mad at nothing that she has said. In fact, I think we need more women like her. We need more men like her. Y'all too sensitive. Y'all cry too much. We can agree and disagree and still fully function as a unit. Because at the end of the day, someone's going to have to concede at some point. Imagine you having a whole system of people who just never agree on anything. How does life work then?
We're seeing that right now.
That's exactly my point. Exactly my point. They're like the three stooges of the United States. That entire cast of men and women, them old people with their names encrusted in them seats.
It's like living Idiocracy live.
Bang, 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 bang.
This was a good one. Shout outs to you. Shout outs to the people. Shout outs to Arcana. And we all have our different opinions on what's happening here in this country. Everybody feel how they feel about Stephen A, about her. It's gonna be a run-on thing, a run-on theme forever. You can't please everybody. We've already established that. So the best thing you can do is ignore it. You can listen and hear it, but when it comes down to doing what is right for the people, you're going to have to know how to use discernment. You can't falter under pressure. You can't allow overly erratic people to dictate how you move, especially if you are seated in a position where you're responsible for the lives of millions. Erratic behavior is not to be trusted. Erratic behavior is not to be leaned on. Do you have any final words for the people before we close out? I will be back later.
But I also wanted to add just start focusing on yourself. Start focusing on figuring out who you are without needing all these other people, companies, social media influencers, news sources telling you who you think you should be, because you are in there. And if you start cutting yourself off from all of these other sources telling you, oh, you need to live this way, you need to look this way, you need to act this way, you'll start to understand what's actually important to you and what you want to stand behind. And we've been so deceived into thinking that what is important can be bought, that we've lost, a lot of us have gotten lost in that and have lost touch with who they are, who we are, and what we stand for. We need to find a way to unite around a common cause, which I'm starting to see with what has been happening, because people are realizing the things that are truly important to us are being taken away. They're at risk now. And so finding yourself is a really important step in being an effective human being and being able to make a difference in a way that makes a difference for you as well. For example, for a long time, I didn't know who I wanted to be. I really struggled because I was focusing more on my friends and trying to be popular. But once I got to college and started taking my classes and started noticing patterns in how I behaved without other people around me, I realized what my true passions were. And the moment I discovered what my passions were was the moment that everything else seemed less important. And it made it so much easier to start cutting things off that I realized were wasting my time because they weren't me. So discover yourself. That's one of the biggest things we can do for ourselves. And I promise it'll benefit you in the long run. You'll meet better friends, you'll live a better life, and you'll be overall happier. And I wrote a poem basically about that about this exact topic that we've been talking about. So I thought it would be perfect to end with. So this is called The Scourge of Entitlement. Around calculated corners, behind barricaded borders, live half-hardened people with fat, faithless feet, dining on paper poison with trash heaps for sleep, lives stolen and shipped off to feed an intellectual war. The gardens of integrity for generations bloomed bright, now wither painfully in false digital light. Monuments crumble in the shadows of false kings as the powerful bask wearing imperial rings. These most deceptive crimes parse humans from their whole, while original sin is sold for insidious goals to forego forgiveness, to force us to forget fables of old fathers now thrown into deep seething seas. From fragile fabrics of the universe, shards of reality are stolen and cursed, images for wallpaper and trash, plastic palaces of marble and ash. These pleased heathens beseech greed behind windows of double-paned glass, preaching with mosaics from the slavery class. Up on the hills they built their homes with velvet promises and ivory bones, tactfully treacherous while begging for clothes, protecting their evils that shan't be exposed. Straight ahead eyes, staring, ignoring hearts cold, hands deceptively fold. Worry not for all those who own all the gold. Instead, fear those bought and sold. For greed is a shame, but really quite tame than the ones observing nuns with disdain, who happily throw less thans in front of a train. Worry not of the wealthy that live like we do. Instead, fear for the eager to profit off you.
Oh, hold on. Hey, look, man. Shout outs to Sid. Shout outs to Arcana. Shout outs to the poem, the poetry community. Everybody on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, wherever you watch it from. I thank y'all for spending some time with us today. I hope you have a blessed one. I will be back later this evening. So tap in. Let's have a good time.
I'm going to throw in one quote. Somebody told me this yesterday, and you made me think of it. She said, poetry or poets are the first responders of intellectual issues. And I love that. So if you're poets, if you're writers, we need to be there for the people to teach because we need it more than ever. So if you're a poet, come forward. We want to hear what you have to say.
And with that being said, do me a solid before y'all go.
What's the goddamn button?
See y'all later on. Be easy.
Mantra, slave song, slave ship, rip skin, made me rip bones. But no matter how close I am, my ancestors speak, they tell me the tide isn't front on us like we're weak. I haven't been getting sleep, longing to sing until I surpass peak, until they think we are equal. Please, all I want is peace.